Let us resume our topic that we had finished yesterday, or rather completed. My name is Faiz Ali, and today's date is 28/11/2023. From tomorrow onwards, the next faculty will continue these topics. Let us continue our today's lecture. We were starting fundamental. We were on the topic of fundamental rights. Yesterday there was a question regarding which of the following articles is the heart and soul of the Constitution. Article 32. So our today's first article is Article 32. It is also called as right to constitutional remedies. Right to constitutional remedies. Now, there are three important things to consider in this right. First one is right to move the code. If anything, if any action of the government is against the fundamental rights, then the citizens should have the power to move the to knock the doors of the court. And Supreme Court is the final interpreter of the Constitution. Supreme Court is the final interpreter of the Constitution. Am I speaking very fast? I know. First one is right to move the court. The next important thing in this Article 32 is power of Supreme Court to issue writs, directions, etc. Under Article 32, Supreme Court has a special power called as writ jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. Both Supreme Courts and High Courts have this power. Under Article 32, Supreme Court has writs only for fundamental rights, and there are five different categories of this, which we will see in the coming minutes. Third is Parliament can empower any other court to issue. Our today's framework will be at 4:30 we will take a short break so that necessary inclusion in the questions and their options will be done, and then we will continue with solving the questions. Any other court to issue writs, orders, directions of all kinds except High Court. Now, except High Court means if any for this a constitutional amendment is required. Now, very quickly we will see the fourth one. Then I will give you a question. You have to solve that. Fourth one is right to move Supreme Court shall not be suspended except as otherwise. This line means that as otherwise. Hence, the president can suspend right to move Supreme Court during national emergency. Now we will solve the question. We will start solving questions at 5:30. After 5:30. Give me the answer of this question. Type the answer in the chat box. I am available at the campus. Someone has given the answer C. One more answers. More answers. More answers. More answer. Read this slide and attempt once again. Done. And also after if we solve this question, you have to give me the answer of tomorrow's yesterday's homework. Which amendment was the amendment number where the internal disturbance was changed with armed rebellion? Come on, answer. The correct option is D. Here the word is can. If the question would have been, which of the following issues writs? Can means a possibility, right? And in the article, we had seen that Supreme Court, Parliament has the power to give the same power to any other court. Next, we will see is now under Article 32, there are 5 rate jurisdiction of Supreme Court, and one more, the most important thing, writs under Article 32 are available only for the enforcement of fundamental rights. And writs under Article 226, that is for high courts, can be enforced for any other purpose. Enforced for any other purpose. So this is the most important thing. You can encounter a question regarding this differentiation. And the jurisdiction of Supreme High Court is not limited to these 5 writs. There can be any other writs that the High Court can pass. Now we will see is the first writ jurisdiction. First is habeas corpus. Habeas corpus in Latin it means bring the body of. If anyone has detained a person, then the Supreme Court can be approached to restore his freedom. Habeas corpus. This is available also against any private person. Available both against private and state authorities. Next is mandamus. Mandamus means to command. Actually, some students in the chat box has written that habeas corpus means to have the body of. So this also means the same thing. The same thing. Habeas corpus means either to bring the body of or to have the body of. It means the same thing, right? In some references, it is given as to have the body of. Mandamus, we command. Okay, not to command, we command. Now, this writ is issued by a court to a public official. Issued. Now, the habeas corpus is available. It protects person against arbitrary detention. If you remember, the article for illegal detention was protection against detention was yesterday only we had done, right? Article arbitrary detention. One more thing, what was the article that dealt with protection against arrest and detention? 22. And article 20 was protection in respect of conviction for offenses. I think I'm speaking very fast. The next important thing is, okay, I will try to speak a little slow, at a slower pace. Mandamus. Mandamus is issued by a court. Issued by a court to a lower court. Okay, to a public official, sorry. To a public official, asking him to perform his duties that he has failed to do. That he has failed to do. Prohibition. Prohibition means to forbid. Forbid. And one more, you have 30 seconds. We will break the word down. What is the meaning of bid? You have 30 seconds. Online students, what is the meaning of the word bid? issued by a higher court to a lower court to prevent it exceeding the jurisdiction. Have you understood the meaning of this sentence? No. For example, a court has power over Mumbai, but that court is deciding a matter that is based on some other city. That means exceeding jurisdiction. Or for example, in the legal field, courts have limited powers. For example, lower courts can prescribe only a certain amount of sentence. It cannot go beyond that. And one more thing, even if the death penalty is prescribed by a district court, it has to get the approval of the High Court. So if the approval is not taken, that means exceeding the jurisdiction. Acha, you have 30 more seconds to give me the answer, the meaning of this word, jurisdiction. In the legal terminology, you will encounter this word thousands and millions of times. Online students, give me the answer, 30 seconds you have. Jurisdiction, there are the basic term in the dictionary. What does it say? Authority, right? In the legal terminology, jurisdiction means area of operation. Even if you watch some movies or something like that, they say that this is not your jurisdiction, please go away. In CBI or any other instances in any movie, you must have heard this sentence, right? Yes, jurisdiction means area of operation. Very basic term, very basic definition. Area of operation. Certiorari means issued by a higher court to a lower court to transfer a case to itself or squash the judgment of the latter. For example, if you follow current affairs now, you will see instances that Supreme Court has transferred a case from particular High Court to another High Court, or a lower court to a High Court, or from a High Court to a Supreme Court. So this comes under the jurisdiction of certiorari, to be certified. This is done so that court does not go above the jurisdiction it has, to be certified. Next is quo warranto. Quo warranto. One more homework you have. The meaning of the word warrant. 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 You have to type the meaning of this word in the chat box. See, CLAT is based on your English language. So you have to get used to as many words as possible in the short amount of time. Quo warranto means by what authority of. It is generally issued to inquire into legality of claim of a person to a public office. For example,
गव्हर्नमेंट ऑफिस मध्ये कोणतं पण काय IPS IAS च्या वेळेस काढू शकतो ते आपण त्यांचं किती एज्युकेशन झालंय ते काम व्यवस्थित करतात का नाही ते बघण्यासाठी ना.
not necessarily. Legality of claim means someone is appointed to that particular place if he has the necessary prerequisites. There are some qualifications for writing an exam, right? So whether that person matches or not, or is there any?
पण मी काय
Is there any? The word starts from D. You have to search that in 30 seconds. A similar word as error, but it starts with D. You have to search that word in 30 seconds. Now Article 32 we have finished. And one more important thing that I forgot about legal habeas corpus is it cannot be issued when the detention is lawful or for contempt of court or contempt of legislature. For contempt of court, there's a whole different act, Contempt of Courts Act. And contempt of court can be of two categories, civil contempt or criminal contempt. Next is Article 33. Article 33 empowers Parliament to restrict or abrogate fundamental rights of persons serving in the armed forces, paramilitary forces, police, etc. Now, as if you observe properly, there are some fundamental rights on which only the Parliament can make laws. So Article 33 is one such law. Similarly, Article 32, the power to give writ jurisdiction to any other courts can only be done by the Parliament. So in the fundamental rights on itself, you can see many different categories. The chapter is very simple, fundamental rights. But there are many exceptions and many restrictions, many conditions to fulfill. Empowers Parliament to restrict or abrogate. Now type the meaning of this word in the chat box. Abrogate fundamental rights of members of armed forces and police, etc. Now you must have a question that why should be the fundamental rights of these people be curtailed? There's no fundamental right of freedom of speech in the army, because if everyone starts speaking their mind, there will be no discipline in the army or in the police forces. And also the duty conditions require utmost secrecy for the armed forces. To ensure discipline. Very good. In the chat box, abrogate means repeal or to end a law. In discipline and maintenance of discharge of duties. Maintenance and discharge of duties. Now, And there's a question we have to solve.
Open है। आर्टिकल 30 तो फंडामेंटल राइट में आता है, तो फंडामेंटल बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर में आता है, और
You have 30 seconds to solve this.
फंडामेंटल बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर में आता है ना।
Nice question. Basic structure का हमारा हुआ नहीं, but I had explained during the initial lectures, right? I had explained ना.
मालूम है मुझे, लेकिन फंडामेंटल राइट बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर में आता है। हाँ ना सर।
I think you have not got the concept. In the chat box, I'm getting the answers which are very wrong. Both of you, your answers. Parliament. In the above sentence itself, I had written na only Parliament can make laws. One more question. Solve this fast in the next 30 seconds. These exams are not just factual exams. That is why ChatGPT is not succeeding much in the UPSC exams, right? You have to make a decision. No, Mane, answer. Okay, I will wait for 30 seconds. Only 2 answers I've got in the chat box. We are waiting for 20 more seconds. No answers. The answer is no. All fundamental rights do not come under the basic structure. Only some fundamental rights come under the basic structure. And who determines which fundamental rights come in the
right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and education rights, ये सब fundamental basic structure के अंदर।
Acha, many are asking why, sir. Okay, I will explain it to you. But first, you have to solve this question. If you solve this question, your doubt will be cleared. Okay, so after 5 minutes, we will take a break. After 5 minutes. In the chat box, I'm getting the messages that break, please, sir. But for 5 minutes, bear with me. It's not that boring, right? Solve this question in the next 30 seconds.
The following
Interprets means explaining that particular thing.
Supreme Court.
One more, two more answers, then I will give the answer. Type answers in the chat box. Two more answers, and then we will solve this question. Only one answer I've got in the chat box. Come on, participants, type.
Judicial independent.
The correct option is Supreme Court. Actually, if you remember the homework that I had given, the case of Nanda Bharti case, that was the judgment when the basic structure was originated by the Supreme Court. And Supreme Court itself determines which of the following provisions of the Constitution are in a part of the basic structure. So understood? Parliament does not decide whether which all come under the basic structure. And also, one more interesting thing about this is Supreme Court has not given a list that following the particular thing comes under the basic structure. Supreme Court, as and when the case comes, as per case by case basis, decides what comes under the basic structure. So, basic structure doctrine was originated by which judgment of the Supreme Court? Case of Nanda Bharti case. See, I am teaching. We are going at a rapid pace. But if you don't get the concept, then what is the meaning of going at such a high pace? No? You should consolidate what I've taught. What was the word that I used? And what does it mean?
सुप्रीम कोर्ट में 2 बार केशवानंद भारती केस में बोला था कि ये बोला था
This is consolidation. The water has become stable, right?
केशवानंद भारती केस में सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जजमेंट दिया था कि बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर को छोड़ के बाकी सब अमेंडमेंट किया जा सकता है.
So that was the judgment where the basic structure doctrine was originated, right? Article 34. Next we will say is Article 34. Article 34 provides that restrictions of fundamental rights only when martial law is enforced. Restrictions on fundamental rights when martial law is enforced. Martial law is related with Article 34 in any area of the country. Now here it means that martial law means military rule, and there's no specific provision in the constitution that determines that this is a procedure to impose a military rule. It is imposed by the executive. And under Article 34, during the operation of martial law, If any functionary or employee of the government has done something that goes against the fundamental rights of the citizens, then there's no remedy for that period. Only for the period where martial law was in force. Martial law means military rule. And during the phase of martial law, the normal operation of judges and the courts is suspended, and administration is taken on on the basis of military rules like court martial. Okay. Let's take a break. Aishwarya's request is fulfilled. है ना? We'll take a break. Okay, the break is over. Now we will see is the next. The next question seems to be a passage type question. First of all, we will read the questions. We will move this page downwards. Okay, now it is good, up and running. First, we will read the questions. Then we will go back to the passage. Because this is our strategy you have to adopt for solving the passage type questions. If you read the passage twice or thrice, then read the questions, you will waste your time in reading the passage only. And the paper will submit automatically. If it is an online based paper, then it submits automatically. फॉर्म भरा ना चेक करो उसमें Which of the following is the CSR initiative of the erstwhile Facebook India to promote women entrepreneurship? Now, what is the name of this one? What is the current name of Facebook now? Meta. This seems very trivial, but this can also be asked in any questions. Now Meta. Read the second question. Which of the following committees in 2019, which of the following committees recommended that CSR expenditure should be made deductible expenditure? Don't look at the read the options first. Company Laws Committee, High Level Committee on Reform of Indian Company Law, High Level Committee on Corporate Social Responsibility, Committee for Reforms in CSR in India. Next is Kavach, is an initiative by National Science and Technology Entrepreneurship Development Board. And what is the important thing regarding this initiative? That is the question that has been asked. The full form of Kavach. These are all current based questions. On January 22, 2021, the CSR Policy Amendment Rules 2021 were notified by Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and Ministry of Law and Justice. The 26th question is an easy one. Ministry of Corporate Affairs has initiated an award to select companies to recognize corporate initiatives in the area of CSR to achieve inclusive growth and inclusive sustainable development. The name of the award is that you have to see. Now, the most important question is, what do you understand by CSR? Corporate social responsibility. You can type in the chat box, what do you understand by CSR? Corporate social responsibility, because the passage is about corporate social responsibility. Come on, write fast. You have 30 seconds.
ये ऐसा मतलब वो जो कंपनीज के रूल्स होते हैं
CSR basically means if the company is earning profit from a society, because it is, for example, Facebook India was operating in India. It is earning profits because of the business it is doing under the country, under the territories, na? Inside the territory of the country. So as this company is earning some profit, it has a certain responsibility towards the people that the company is affecting, because the operations might be causing some negative impact on the environment, right? The corporate social responsibility means certain percent of the profit is earmarked. What was the word? Earmarked. What does it mean? Set aside for the upliftment of the society. And also you get tax benefits. Now let us read the passage. Is the passage clear on the YouTube channel? Now let us read the passage. Government may defer. What is the one meaning of this word? Meaning of this word? Defer means you can write in the chat box. No one is typing in the chat box. What happened today? What's the matter with you kids? Delay, right? Defer the deadline for companies to deposit the unspent portion of their CSR funds into specified bank accounts in a move aimed at providing some relief in fight against COVID-19. Companies are required to spend at least 2% of their average net profit. This is the same thing that I've taught, right? CSR. Certain percent of profit is earmarked for some activities. Net profit of preceding within 3 financial years on CSR. Ministry has allowed firms to undertake projects on an ongoing basis on the condition that any unspent amount must be deposited with the scheduled bank within 30 days of the end of the financial year. Now, when does the financial year end? This is the question. Consider the current crisis. We request your esteemed office to consider relaxation by providing extension of the timelines up to June 30, 2021. The Institute of Company Secretaries of India, ICSI, to the ministry. Experts said that while lockdowns and restrictions are less stringent than last year, and companies have adapted to working online, many professionals or their families have been affected by the infection, leaving teams short-staffed. So let us see. I think most of the answers are not given in this passage. Now, an initiative of CSR regarding Facebook India. For this was in current affairs 2022. Answer is Pragati. Next important thing is full In which of the following committees recommended that CSR expenditure should be made deductible expenditure? I think this was the answer given in the passage, right? Check the answer for that question. Not given in this passage, right? पढ़ा तुम लोगों ने है क्या इसके अंदर? This was a little difficult question. High level committee on CSR. क्या?
सवाल क्या है? Implement the weight of the following committee economy and should be.
Now you can solve this with logic, but this is very difficult to solve on logic. It is fact based question. Company laws committee, because that passage was dealing with company law. So this could have been the answer. And high level committee to reform Indian company law. This was not the answer, right? Because it deals with CSR. The most probable answer would be 3 and 4, C and D. Kavach is an initiative by the National Science and Technology. The full form of Savan Kavach, it is asking. Now this is also a very fact-based question based on current affairs. Kavach. It should be related to COVID-19, right? Because that was the most important, most impacting news in the recent past. This was in the current affairs. Now the company's corporate social responsibility rules. So the matter of companies are dealt by corporate affairs, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. This was a pretty easy one. Article 27 based on current affairs. Answer is there.
The outlook and also the global outlook was India. Policy industry.
Okay, we'll solve the next one. पैसे की इसमें से फ्लैट में पैसे के ज्यादा आते
इंग्लिश के भी आते हैं
इंग्लिश के भी रहते हैं
इंग्लिश के भी बहुत
For following the passage, you need to have a command over English, no? Over English. Now, please read this. Read this. The following is the flagship program of Ministry of Shipping. Newspapers. Ministry of Shipping, Government of India, to promote port-led development in the country through harnessing India's 7,500 km long coastline, 14,500 km potentially navigable waterways, and strategic location on key international maritime routes. Now, this is a very easy one. It was in the current affairs. It is not given in the passage, but answer is A, Sagarmala. Next is this is also based on current affairs. Okay, first we will read the passage, then we will see if we can solve the questions related with passage. The 21st century has seen an overall shift in India's policy outlook and also global outlook towards India. The first sentence means that India's policies, India's outlook is shifting, and also the world's outlook towards India is also shifting. Coherent policy initiatives. Now, what is the meaning of this word coherent? You have 30 seconds. Clear, right? Coherent policy initiatives and effective implementation on the ground have assumed a positive growth profile. The biggest shift has been the recognition of maritime sector. Somehow, post-independence, we as a nation became sea blind and completely undermined our maritime potential. Initially, Indian Navy came out with their maritime strategy in 2007 called Freedom to Use the Seas. Now, this is a fact you have to remember. Freedom to Use the Seas in 2007. Kept on upgrading their vision document on regular intervals, latest being declared in 2015. Now, security and growth for all in the region vision declared by Government of India in May 2015 has been a massive game changer on multiple fronts. It integrates the geopolitical and geostrategic realities to domestic requirements. The security concerns and the blue economic opportunities are comprehensively addressed along with the diplomatic leverage and reviving the rich maritime heritage. Sagar Vision has been backed by aggressive push by the Government of India to drive mega projects with massive human resource requirements. This is not given in the passage, right? But the answer is deep ocean mission. It is based on the current affairs. In the deep ocean mission, there were two components. One was sending a manned mission to the bottom of the ocean. The next question was the full form of ISA. What does ISA stand for?
Indian, Indian,
Options are INTL means international Sea Authority. If you've not read, you cannot solve this question, right? Give me the answer first. International Seabed Authority. One more question is India's first manned mission to the sea, bottom of the. Based on current affairs, right? Come on, online students, type the answer in the chat box. This will be the last question that we will be solving today. Right. Someone has typed A. The correct answer is B, Samudrayan. Now, if you've observed, many of the questions of CLAT are current affairs based. So this means that you have to read current affairs and newspapers. If you read the newspapers, these are very easy questions. In the first,
कोणचा नाही?
Indian Express or the Hindu?
So the
Okay, some of you has typed the answer B. Thank you, everyone. Let's conclude our lecture here today. Take care. Have a nice day.